Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back into the Fallout Shelter. I'd like to first bring your attention to a video I think I put out just yesterday on August the 18th, 2019. Today being August the 19th, 2019. Was Delta plane fills with mist before takeoff, and what that mist might have been was blamed on condensation. Well, it seems that now we have more cabin chemtrails. 11 days ago, a British Airways flight filled with smoke and had to be landed and evacuated down the emergency ramps. So I will just get right into it. It was also a British Airways plane. So if you look in the background there, that plane that is dumping all of that mythical, magical condensation, it is a British Airways plane as well. So, British Airways cabin fills with smoke, prompting evacuation. Felt like horror film. British Airways flight BA 422 from London to Spain was forced to evacuate after smoke filled the plane cabin. As the aircraft was landing at the Valencia airport during the final leg of its flight, it began to experience technical issues that eventually filled the entire cabin and pilot cockpit with smoke, according to a BA person. Flight BA 422 from Heathrow to Valencia experienced a technical issue on its landing approach. All our customers were evacuated safely by our crew and met by the airport's emergency services, the spokesman told people in a statement. There were 175 passengers in addition to 2 pilots and 6 cabin crew members on board. 3 customers were taken to the hospital as a precaution and have since been discharged, the airline confirmed to People. Okay, the link to this will be in the description. But you know, this there's some pictures. This seems to be happen a little more than I thought it did anyway. Look here. An Allegiant air cabin fills with smoke, September 26, 2017. Smoke filled the cabin of an Allegiant Airjet after it landed at a California airport on Monday, forcing coughing passengers to cover their faces with shirts and firefighters to board the plane. All of this is happening under landing, so I'm thinking somebody's forgetting to turn the chemtrail switch off. I'll explain that to you in just a second. Look, another one. American Airlines cabin. Now this is from Luxury Travel Diary. Nowadays, smoke in the cabin is an unusual and concerning event, which is why the American Airlines flight below chose to return to its departure airport as quickly as possible. The unknown cause of the smoke was never reported on, but the effect it had on passengers and cabin crew was. One member of the cabin crew was taken ill and given oxygen. Others complained of breathing difficulties. Clearly, this incident wasn't fatal and was most probably a result of technical issues. But it does remind me that smoke in the cabin is a concerning issue. Recently, a mobile phone battery caused a fire on a British Airways flight. Always British Airways. This kind of issue, if it gets out of control, can require immediate evacuation. Down at the bottom it says, Flight AA1089 had returned to Miami due to chemical smoke odor in the cabin. Consequently, a member of the cabin crew was taken ill and given oxygen mid-air. Others too complained of breathing difficulties. Due to depart at 1:40 p.m. with a new crew. Let me show you this. This is fumeevents.com. It talks about aerotoxic syndrome. It's the name given to ill health caused by breathing in contaminated air on an aircraft. The air we breathe in the cabin is bled off from the engines and is known as bleed air. Along the way, it can pick up constituents of fuel, hydraulic fluid, and engine oil. An organophosphate that is a neurotoxin is added to the engine oil called trisulfide phosphate. The recirculated air goes through a high-efficiency particulate air filter to screen out dust, bacteria, and viruses. The bleed air is unfiltered. Links will be in the description. You should really go check all this out because symptoms of having these problems are headache, dizziness, sore throat, nose, eye irritation, breathlessness, cough, flu-like feeling but with normal or low temperature, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, mental confusion, memory loss, fatigue, hot flashes, nerve pain, chemical bronchitis, pneumonia. Long-term is pain in arms, pins and needles in hands and feet, numbness, muscle pain and weakness, joint pain, chronic fatigue, nerve damage, difficulty finding words, dyslexia, inability to regulate body temperature, and asthma. Now, those are just some of the symptoms, and who among us don't know somebody who's starting to suffer with that? May it be that the chemicals that give them the same problem in the plane that are being dumped on top of us are giving us the same problems now? This aerotoxic syndrome. I want to show you one more thing before I end this. Video. Back in 2007, Harvard released this. Various suggestions have been made for stratospheric aerosols or particles to stimulate the observed cooling effect of major volcanic eruptions. The best known is the detailed proposal of Paul Crutzen for sulfur dioxide, also extensively discussed as diatomous earth, injected as individual diatoms, silica particles originating as marine shells. This paper describes the selection and preliminary testing of chemicals that might be used as aviation fuel additives to distribute these two products, sulfur dioxide and micron-sized silica particles, from a high-flying commercial or military aircraft. The two chemicals tested are dimethyl sulfide to produce sulfur dioxide and tetraethyl silicate to produce silica particles. In a closed glass jar, both of these chemicals are indistinguishable from jet aviation fuel. Both are clear, colorless, oily liquids. Both dissolve in aviation fuel in any proportion. Solutions of each of these chemicals have been burned in a paraffin blow lamp as a simple simulation of a jet engine combustion chamber. I will leave the link to this below in the description. Remember, additive to jet fuel, correct? And then it says, the combined chemicals have been described as smelling like sweaty socks, wet dog, vomit, or an old musty smell. What's it say? The recirculated air goes through a high-efficiency particulate air filter to screen out dust, bacteria, and viruses. The bleed air is unfiltered. The bleed air is what contains all of that crap Harvard wants to mix into the fuel to make it produce the silicates and the reflectiveness and the chemtrails that we see, and they're being pumped in when there's a problem with the bleed air. And it's just, oh well, it's magical condensation or a technical issue, we're sorry. Here's a whatever, have a nice day, blah, blah, blah. Look, I've discovered that on this channel, the only way this information is going to get out to anybody else is if you share it. So if you deem it shareable, share it. If you don't, pass it on by. I appreciate those of you that share it. I appreciate those of you that support me. God bless you all. Much love to you all, and have a great day.